The first event of the night was visited by 3,000 people, and by 2017, this number grew more than 16 times to 15,000. Around 30% of the public are visitors of the city. These factors influence both the local economy and establish Plovdiv as a contemporary city with great cultural potential. We asked Vesselina if culture and art could be catalysts for change in a city.
I could not generally answer this question. It depends on the city. In some cities you can see that art helps, culture helps to provide change, but not everywhere. Plovdiv was a very fruitful example. The culture is rooted here, so working on this level with the city, it was giving back. In I don't know how many years, maybe 5, 6, 7 years, we could follow the results and describe them. Even now, 10 years after we founded the Open Arts Foundation, I can see that some processes started, and now there are reflections and new processes that have to be changed and reorganized again. So I mean, in Plovdiv it was working well. Once I was invited for a research trip in the United States, and they're Americans, they're very good how they describe your model, your innovation. So they said, what is interesting in your work is that you have this 3 integrated model for developing the city. So this model having a gallery, that is commercial thing, but then having a cafe that you know, you have nice books, library, international art magazines, you publish a bulletin about the cultural events in the city and other cities, and then having offices of the foundation on the same street, so people are just floating. They can buy art, they can go for coffee, or they can contribute somehow volunteering at the foundation. So it's just this cultural corner what we did, and this provided change because now you can see this model in many places in Plovdiv. If you go to Kapana, you'll see like a organization, business with a cafe and gallery. So it started, it's grown. Also the design we used. So this kind of a cultural spots.
The cultural transformation of Plovdiv is also connected to the rising expectations of the public for quality. This motivated artists and creators. Lina is a freelance photographer documenting some of the most important cultural events in Plovdiv. She came back from Germany 3 years ago.
So there's the difference between mass production and good quality production, and maybe now I see that it's somehow easier, or it's more, people search for good quality more than they did before, or there's even more possibilities to just make it happen, more people that will help you do it, and more people that have value in that. This is why I came back, because I like the idea of making good things here that people search for and want to see, and are proud when they hear Bulgarian in a good quality video, instead of just, you know, making it till we fake it, you know, just you tick the to-do, okay, we did this, we put it online, good. It's not perfect, we're not proud for it, but, you know, we did it, so it's fine. I am more of a person that kind of wants the other thing. I kind of want better quality. I want to be proud of my language, of my, even if it's going to be productions, if it's going to be whatever it's going to be. And I like meeting here people that are exactly the same, and I've met so many of them, so many. I really think that this is bullshit, that there isn't people that actually do quality things in Bulgaria. Media is just, we're drowning in bad things and bad news, and in my opinion there's such good, young, quality working people here. And everyone that I know around me is more so something like this.
The alternative map of Plovdiv is a guide that will inspire tourists to look for hidden places not shown on regular maps, and it helps locals to discover the layers of their rich history and find new potentials for themselves.
We did alternative map on Plovdiv, not, you know, staying with a pen and saying, okay, this is alternative, that's alternative. No, we did a group of meetings on different topics with art experts, with historians, with urbanists, with people from the city archive, with important people that were working on different levels of research about Plovdiv. This time we were discussing these topics and identifying interesting spots. After this communication, talks, conversations, we understood the city better, but together. And after that, our editors, the editors of Alternative Map, said, okay, now we'll work on identifying these places, and then we put them on paper. So the way everything was done was also very important for the sustainability and for the continuation of the model, not only of the facts. So, yeah.
After a very successful period of industrialization during the Third Bulgarian Kingdom back in the early 1900s, Plovdiv found an abrupt end of its flourishing with the coming of the communist regime.
In Bulgaria, after the political changes, after the communists passed, we had high and low culture. We had museums, but we also had like other culture, like an underground culture. But as a young person, I was seeing everything for me was flat. And understanding of culture and art came to my, how to say, curiosity. There are many facts behind us as a history of my foundation, history of the gallery, history of the cafe. I have this project, which is the newest cultural container we wanted to do here, and we invited Austrian curators and Austrian embassy. So, you know, it's just there are some stories behind that.
I wasn't part of the application when Plovdiv applied for Capital of Culture. I joined in later. Before we won it, I was on the team that presented the candidacy, so I was part of the process all throughout. But I think part of the reason why people thought that this is possible is because of this singular event, the night, which showed them that Plovdiv has this potential that is amazing and that can turn one night into something that doesn't happen in a year or in a decade. Just within a night, you have such amazing, interesting young people in their 20s, in their teens. I was telling Vessi last night, do you realize that the people we see today in the street 13 years ago when they started, they were at the age of my daughter, who is now 8. They were young kids, and those kids are now the second and the third generation of visitors to that night, and now to them, it's something that was always there.
Culture, it has more large meaning nowadays. It's not only, you know, to have painting. The culture is the way you see things, the way you describe things. Culture is how you approach the other people. The culture is not only what we do as with the Night of Museums and Galleries or with Alternative Map, but how we did it.
It was a whim, but that's how things start. My personal philosophy is that you should do things happen. You should make things happen. People should make things happen without thinking about how difficult it is or what the consequences will be. When you believe in something, you should try and do it to the best of your ability. And that's what I do as a publisher as well.
That's what we are doing with our project.
That's what you're doing with your project.
Just be a part of it, make it better, help people realize something that they're proud of. Be there, proud with your name behind it, instead of just being negative, unhappy, and branking. That's what we say.